And to Beyonce. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you, Ariana, for that beautiful introduction. My God, what can't you do? Thank you to the Hollywood Reporter for this extraordinary honor, and especially to the co-editors-in-chief, Nekesa Mumbi-Mudin and Mayor Roshan. Thank you to my mom and my Aunt Daff, who are here this morning. My mother and my other mother. And to my team, so many of you are here: Gretchen, Wee, Tracy, Angela, Katie, Michelle, Kath, Pilar, Nicole, Greg. I would not be up here without your support and your commitment and your courage. Okay. And congratulations to all of the recipients, the scholarship recipients, today's honorees and awardees, the participants in the mentorship program. I love this event. Every year, I love being in this room filled with women and a few of our allies, like Will. Thank you to all of the evolved men in the room. Usually, when I come here, I really love to, just hang out and kiki and network a little, see some friends and listen and get inspired. But it occurred to me, like a week ago, that I guess this year I'm supposed to be one of the people doing the talking, not the listening. So I went back to my email because I was like, what is this award for? And I reread it. Thank you, publicist. Thank you, Katie Michelle, for sending me that. And it said equity and entertainment. And so like my fellow nerdy friend, Ariana, I looked up, what is equity? What is it? So I have 3 kids. They range in age from 7 to 18. But last year, my 9-year-old, Gracie, she was in 3rd grade, and they were talking about equity. In fact, the whole class was talking about the difference between equity and equality and justice. When my husband and I went in for parent-teacher conferences, there were all these drawings hanging on the wall done by the students to help explain exactly what the differences are: equity, equality, justice. It really helped to make the distinction clear. So it made me think a lot. So I'm gonna try to paint a similar picture for you today, but I really want you to be able to see this. So if you don't mind indulging me, I'm gonna ask each of you to close your eyes for just a moment. I want you to try to see this in your mind. Picture a wooden fence. It's about 4 feet tall. And on the other side of that fence is a beautiful orchard filled with apple trees. Now picture 3 kids, all about the same height, and they're standing on this side of the fence with us, and they're struggling to get a better view of what's on the other side of the fence. Now remember, the fence is 4 feet high from ground level, but the problem is the ground on this side of the fence is uneven. It slopes down along the fence, so that even though the kids are the same size, only one of them can see over it. The next kid is about 1 foot from being able to see over the fence. And the 3rd kid is kind of in a ditch, about 2 feet below the top of the fence. So the 2 kids who are not on level ground, they're jumping and bouncing and standing on their tippy toes because they really want to see over the fence. You can open your eyes. So first, let's talk about equality. When we talk about equality, what we usually mean, as Ariana said, is that everybody should get the exact same thing all the time. Same resources, same opportunities. So in the story of these 3 kids, that means that maybe somebody comes along with a box that's about 1 foot high, right? 3 boxes. They give the exact same box to all 3 kids. Is it helpful? You tell me. Maybe you need to close your eyes again. The kid who could already see over the fence is now towering over the fence and is like, maybe I should just jump this fence, climb inside the orchard, and get some apples. The second kid can now just barely see into the orchard and is amazed. She's trying to make sense of it. She's wrapping her head around the vast landscape of apple trees that she wasn't able to see before. And the third kid, well, she still can't see over the fence. The problem is that that ditch, it's deeper than 1 box can fix. So everyone has gotten the same resources, equal assistance, but not all 3 kids are going to go home with apples. not unless they work together, and maybe not unless we step in and acknowledge that they each need a different level of support, a different kind of assistance. That's the challenge with equality. Giving the same thing to different people who are at different starting points doesn't allow everyone the same opportunity to succeed. Does that mean we shouldn't give? Of course not. We have to give. What's happening here today in terms of giving is extraordinary. I'm so moved year after year by the generosity in this room. So many of you offering your time and your talent and your treasure. But now let's talk about equity. From a social science, civic justice perspective, equity, the equity model is not about giving every person the same box. Equity is about taking the time and paying attention to who needs what kind of box and how many boxes and how and maybe why. It's not a simple formula that can be cut and pasted from person to person. Equity requires presence and awareness and patience and vulnerability and listening. Equity is not simple, and it's not easy to get it right all the time. It's nuanced. It can be complicated. Sometimes it's scary, because equity asks us to pause and to see each other, to consider each other's unique circumstances, because let's be clear, this is not a level playing field. We are not in real life on equal ground. Many of us, because of our gender, because of our race, our socioeconomic reality, our zip code, our sexuality, our religion, our physical ability, our personal traumas, many of us are born in a ditch, a deep ditch that has been carved out by systems of inequity. And don't get me wrong, I know who we are. We are scrappy, we know how to climb, we jump, we reach, but we also need boxes. We might still need some of those boxes. At times, my box came in the form of a mentor, or a scholarship, or a therapist, or a manager, or maybe even a movie I watched or a novel that I read that helped me to see over the fence and beyond the limitations of these marginalizing systems. I needed that support. I needed it to see into that orchard and climb over that fence and eat. No matter what neighborhood we were born into, or how much money our family has, or how we identify, or what we believe, we deserve our apples. We deserve entry into the orchard. That's what equity looks like. But listen, we have a long way to get there. So what does this mean for entertainment? Well, I don't think we can unlock equity until we're able to really see each other and understand who we are and where we come from and what we need. We don't cultivate equity without making space for each other's truths. When stories from all different people and backgrounds are told and people see their story reflected in media and in culture, that starts to weave a thread where everyone is included. That's the path to equity. That's why centering stories about marginalized people is so important. This is why heroes have to look like all of us. Our stories, our movies, our music. Art teaches us to stop and slow down and really see ourselves and see each other. I'm being given this honor today for amplifying the voices of underrepresented communities. I guess, in a way, for using storytelling and narrative entertainment as a box that uplifts characters and communities to get them to get us over the fence and into the orchard. At Simpson Street every day, we're asking people to step into these stories with us and consider each other's deeper humanity with projects like Confirmation and American Sun and Little Fires Everywhere, and God bless Norman Lear live in front of a studio audience, and Unprisoned and Reasonable Doubt. We're asking people to pause and reconsider assumptions, the assumptions we make about history and identity and family and power and the criminal justice system and feminism and abortion rights and immigration. But we aren't trafficking in these themes because we want to be overtly political or singularly focused on equity. We just believe that stories about everybody and about the complicated truths of our time are worth telling. So we tell them with a lot of laughter and drama and danger and sex appeal and beauty and cliffhangers galore. Whether it's the stories we're telling or the advocacy work that we do around civic engagement and voting justice, at my company, Across Verticals, we believe in agency, in developing people's own power to transform their lives, in encouraging people to see themselves as the lead character in the story of their lives. But I know that that's not always easy. I wrote my memoir, Thicker Than Water, partly because I realized that I wasn't living my life as the protagonist of my story. But if you know anything about the book, then you know that I also struggled with what it meant to center myself on my own hero's journey while still honoring the full humanity of my parents. Ironically, in the end, my parents are the heroes of my memoir. But I think that's so much of what the battle for equity is going to require, that we, as we step into the center of our lives and of our stories, that as women, as people of color, as members of the LGBTQ+ community, as people with differently abled bodies, from marginalized religions, that we then also be willing to uplift others and to be supporting characters in their stories so that they can be the lead characters in their own lives too. And I think when I stand up here and look at you guys, I think that's what today is about, right? It's about stepping into our power and then sharing it with each other. It is so beautiful to be here and to feel that sense of community and generosity. And I think that's how we get to that third word. I think that's how we get to justice. Because justice isn't about giving everybody the exact same box. And it's not even about giving out the right kind of boxes to exactly who needs them so that everybody can get over the fence. Justice is about leveling the ground and ripping the fucking fence down. Justice is about dismantling the systems that prevent us from getting to the other side of our greatness. And we have to do that together. Mornings like this are so special because they are a glorious glimpse into what that might feel like one day. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for this honor. I'm going to do everything I can to try to live up to it. And I pray that all year long, we continue to celebrate one another and support each other and lift each other up as we work together toward a world with more equity and more equality and more justice and apples for all.